What's going on, guys? My name's Joe. You can find me everywhere online at Tattoo Theist. This is one of our weekly news wrap-ups. This is for March 17th with just some stuff I hope you've seen, and if you haven't seen it, then you're going to hear about it here. So the first one is we all know that the Bidens have taken money from China. At least I feel like most of us have. So this is the newest in the collection of what has happened in regards to that. So we have Hallie is the unmasked as the mystery third Biden family member to receive China cash. Top Republican reveal, Bayou's window and Hunter's ex got $35,000 in 2017 from a $3 million deal made by Hunter's associate. So it was identified on Thursday as the third member of the first family wrapped up in Rep. James Comer's investigation into allegations they used their name to profit on business deals around the world. Now, I don't want to go super far into this because honestly, there's so much information on all of this, and this is really kind of one of the smaller bits of that whole fiasco between Biden himself and Hunter. The amount of money that is involved in these business deals from Ukraine to China is just absolutely wild. So if you are ignorant to that and you cut them slack at all, maybe look into this and then see if you still want to cut them slack. Not this specific story, but look into Hunter's business dealings with China and then look at how they are tied to President Biden as well. It's just something you should be aware of. Another thing that happened this week was DeSantis administration is revoking the Hyatt Regency Miami alcohol license after it hosted a drag queen Christmas. Florida regulators are revoking a hotel liquor license for hosting a drag show performance where minors were present. The DeSantis administration had previously said it was looking into a drag queen Christmas. The minors were allowed in as long as they were accompanied by an adult. Read into this if you're interested about it. I feel like this was a little bit of a soft hit. Now, you can argue that a liquor license at a hotel, it is very vital. And there will be certain patrons that if they go to book a hotel and then they realize, there won't be alcohol present in the hotel bar, this might deter them from staying at the hotel. So it could potentially hurt their business. But I don't expect that it would be a massive hit on their business. So I'm not sure if maybe this is just kind of a show of force, less of a trying to actually damage the business kind of scenario, but at least he's doing something. Honestly, I'm a fan of DeSantis. I'm not a DeSantis fanboy in any manner, but I at least appreciate that he's not just letting this happen like so many other states, like Texas, for instance, they just let this run rampant and they do nothing about it. So at least in DeSantis's case, he's doing something, he's being proactive, and he's taking some kind of political action. The great trans backfire. The Biden administration's push to normalize medical gender changes for kids flies in the face of new science, public opinion, red state laws, and European allies. Joe Biden's trans health chief admits she has stepped into a political minefield. Trans medicine has support at the highest levels of the federal government, she says. The White House is out of step with Europe's most cautious approach. And that is true. So Europe was pretty kind of level with us as far as this whole transing the kids thing went. And then what Europe ended up doing sometime last year was they started to pull back a little bit. They started to see that adverse effects were happening. The damage was being done to children. And then they pulled the reins a bit. And they stopped going so gung-ho, and they started implementing some of these regulations that kind of slowed this push towards the next generation, which is really good. And it's something that the United States needs to get on board with. But what I really wanted to show you is this. U.S. adults reject trans procedures on children. So you have always acceptable, which is this pale brown. And then you have usually acceptable, which is going to be this darker color. And then not sure is the white gray. Usually unacceptable is going to be your orange. And then always unacceptable is going to be your bright red. And this was a recent YouGov survey of 1,000 adults across red and blue states found that Americans were largely against gender-affirming procedures for children. This is beautiful. This is still not great. And I don't mean to be a pessimist, but these numbers need to change. You need to have much more red. You need to have people who are much more confidently against this. Now, I don't know how many of the people that were polled weren't comfortable saying how they really felt, and in that they felt that it was very wrong and always unacceptable, and they just didn't know if they could say that or not. Like, that's the whole thing about this fiasco, is that you have so much fear instilled in the public against speaking their opinion, against speaking for moral truth and moral objectivity. So it's hard to kind of get a proper gauge when you have the normal person, the average Joe, the average suburban mom, so scared to go against the machine. So I hope that the more things start to shift in the direction that they're shifting, people will become more outspoken. People will be more comfortable saying absolutely not. In no case, it is never acceptable to do this to children. I really hope to see these numbers shift in that direction. Now, if you've not heard about the banking collapse, I'm a big finance guy. I'm a big trader, crypto and stocks and stuff. So this was on my radar. State pension funds, as a result of those bank collapses in California, state pension funds to lose $136.8 million following collapse of SVB and Signature Bank, with California down to $78 million, as officials say they are unsure whether they will ever recover the money. You've got North Carolina, Rhode Island, Ohio, Illinois, and California are all set to lose $136.8 million from their pension funds. The largest pension fund in Sweden also lost more than $1 billion. Economists now fear the world may once again slip into a global recession. So ever since last year, we've been teetering on this brink of a fall, right? And then within the crypto world, we've had a few big falls. And then even the stock market obviously last year crashed, but we've been on kind of a steady, slow rise, kind of coming back in both markets with little dips here and there. But now you have a market and in a market full of market participants who are scared to hell. Everybody is completely uncertain. Nobody knows what is going to happen. And I think this could really get bad very quickly. So we'll see what happens with some of the bailouts. We'll see what happens with things like that. But there is a possibility these state pension funds are lost forever. And that's a problem for people. It's a big problem for people. It's very, very sad. That leads us into this next one. So Credit Suisse, Lifeline, First Republic, Rescue. What you need to know. Credit Suisse and First Republic Bank's shares came under renewed pressure on Friday despite multi-billion-dollar support deals, while a source said European central bank supervisors see no contagion for Eurozone banks from the turmoil. Shortly after, embattled Credit Suisse secured an emergency central bank loan of up to $54 billion. On Thursday, the U.S. banks now swooped in with a $30 billion lifeline for San Francisco-based First Republic, which has been under scrutiny since the collapse of the two mid-sized U.S. banks in California that went down. So they received $30 billion in deposits from several big banks as part of a rescue package, but its shares fell around 20% in early trade on Friday. So this is what happens when things like this happen, is there becomes this contagion effect. And then you have runs on the bank, you have massive stock drops, you have things that then begin to spread all throughout the market. And then things that don't necessarily need to happen, they happen because of so much market participant pressure out of fear. And so I'm extremely curious to see where we end up with all this, what other banks end up going under due to this, and what the overall market environment is going to be like moving forward. I'm not going to go crazy into finance because I know a lot of people don't care. And then last on our list, a fun one. Hawaiian man nicknamed Dolphin Dave, accused of harassing humpback whales and dolphins. So this man goes by the name of Dolphin Dave. He was arrested earlier this week on suspicion of harassing the dolphins and the whales in a name I can't say in Hawaii, a beach in Hawaii. Hawaii's Department of Land and Nature Resources received several calls about the man allegedly pursuing a humpback whale. The man was reportedly snorkeling near the island when he came across the giant sea mammal. In a video taken earlier this month, Dave swam dangerously close to the animal with witnesses claiming that he nearly touched the whale's fin. Dolphin Dave, whose real name is Dave Jimenez, posted the video on his Facebook page. When confronted for getting too close to the sea animals, Dave said he wouldn't stop swimming with the dolphins or the whales. Get 'em, Dave. He wrote, "It's magical, and others do much worse things." The local authorities cited Jimenez with 2 breaches of Hawaiian's administrative rule of prohibiting acts in regards to endangered whale species and harassing wildlife in state parks. Dave was eventually arrested, which is really sad, while swimming close to a pod of dolphins near the coast of the Hawaii Islands. The police say that Jimenez was leading a group to chase the animals while wearing a dark black wetsuit. So I've read a few articles on this guy and on what happened, and to say that he was chasing them, it may be intentional wording to kind of justify the arrest. It kind of seemed as if this guy just loves dolphins and whales and that he's just trying to swim with them. So, I mean, who knows? I'm not there. I don't know. But from everything else I read, he just seems like this dude who really likes sea life. And so he's trying to swim with them, man. He's trying to spend some time with the animals. He's trying to get off the land, get in the water, get wet, get close to the whales and the animal or into the dolphins, and just trying to have a good time. So it was really sad to see that he got arrested because I don't feel like he's doing anything wrong. If he is, obviously, he should be arrested. I hope they don't hit him with any crazy charges and he's able to just get out and go on with his life and maybe go pick a different beach to try to get some dolphins swimming in. Because as far as I know, swimming with dolphins, as long as you don't impede on them in any way, I believe that's legal. Maybe Hawaii has different laws. I'm not entirely sure. But I love this story. I just thought it was very cute. I had a good time reading it. I really enjoyed it. So there you go. March 17th, a little bit of what happened this week. I'll keep throwing these out just kind of willy-nilly until you guys tell me to stop. But I'll try to get better stories next week. I'm coming off being really, really sick last week. So I honestly just kind of threw this together, some things that I thought might be good. But I'll get more intentional with the stories that I put together. I'll get more intentional with what I say about them. But I'm also going to try to keep them relatively short. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I love y'all. I will see you next week.